Hello there, it's Nooch. And as you probably know, Nooch took some time here in the last couple of weeks to rework his studio completely. Change everything, put a bunch of Star Wars memorabilia out there, and some other items that Nooch has collected over the years, and some things that are important to Nooch. Also put up some of the Lego stuff that we're going to be building over the course of the year as well. So thought today we would go back and take a little closer look at what's in the studio so you can have a better familiarity with what is going on behind Nooch. So let's just jump right in, and as we start off, you can see we've got the Revenge of the Jedi poster. That is going to be over Nooch's right shoulder, but this is actually a calendar. You can see November 2006 there at the top. This is a calendar that's been sitting in Nooch's office for 14 years and not used. So Nooch pulled it out, and man, it had a lot of really cool posters in there. You can even see the Revenge of the Jedi poster down there on the bottom left. I'm not sure if that's Japan, it says. Okay, so that's Japanese. But this is a really cool poster that is in the calendar, so Nooch really wanted to put it back there and highlight it. Nooch has ordered a 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back poster that we're going to be highlighting here soon as well. Okay, this is the top shelf back there, and there is Grogu. So Grogu was a Christmas present from Mrs. Nooch. You can see his ears are kind of malleable, his arms move up and down, he's using the Force. Nooch loves this Grogu. This is an awesome version of Grogu. It's very realistic and very cool, and just a lot of fun. And you can see all the books here. We got books. We have books and VHS tapes. So starting from the left, we got the Death Star book, which Nooch has not read. Guys, I got to tell you, Nooch really struggles to read anymore. He used to read a lot of fiction, a lot of nonfiction, and these days it just doesn't stick. I don't know if it's because Nooch is making videos or what's going on, but really struggles. So the next three books you see are Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and Star Wars. And these are books that were all given to Nooch at the time, somewhere around the time these movies were released. On the left, Return of the Jedi, the illustrated edition, has a bunch of art in it by, what is it? Oh my goodness, I should have looked this up, but it's got a bunch of Star Wars art by Ralph McQuarrie. Ralph McQuarrie, the guy that drew all the original art, and it's all Return of the Jedi art mixed in with the book. And unfortunately, that book is in such bad shape. The pages are falling out of the bindings. It's not in really good shape. Empire Strikes Back, there is just a straight paperback of Empire Strikes Back that came out. That Star Wars hardback, that was published in 1976, a year before the movie came out. And it's called Star Wars from the Adventures of Luke Skywalker. George Lucas wrote the book. It is awesome. It's just really cool to look through it, look at the pictures, and know that it came out a year before the movie did. The next three items there are VHS movies. These are the movies that Nooch would watch with Nooch Cosmo back in the late 80s and early 90s. I believe Nooch purchased these. I want to say Nooch purchased these at McDonald's, which sounds crazy. But McDonald's for a while was selling these movies, and they sold Indiana Jones movies on VHS. Like with your meal, you could buy them for an extra $9.99 or something like that. So Nooch purchased all of these back in the 80s, and you can see that they're worn. That's because they were watched a lot, especially Empire Strikes Back, watched a lot. On the right side are some old classic Han Solo books that came out with I would say like in 80, 81, somewhere in that range. But Han Solo and the Lost Legacy, Nooch has read that one. It's Star's End. That was kind of a famous one. Nooch hasn't read all of those, but did read Lost Legacy. But those are just some really old Han Solo books that came out a long time ago. Here's a shelf below that. To the left, you see, this is the C-3po shelf, yes. So to the left, you got a plush C-3po. Behind him, you've got a C-3po that if you press the button, he talks. Oh my. Yeah, I can't do. He's holding a thermal detonator. I can't. Sorry, that was really loud. I apologize. Then you see the Han Solo and the Obi-Wan Kenobi with his foot kind of bitten off there by the dog. Those, I don't remember what those were. There was some kind of action figures that the boys had. I really can't remember what those were called back in the day, but those were probably about 20 years old. Then you see the Pez dispensers, 2 C-3PO, 2 Darth Vader. Behind that, that box holds all of Nooch's Star Wars collector cards, or bubblegum cards. Nooch has a whole bunch of the original Star Wars, a lot of Empire Strikes Back. There were, for all those movies, you had like blue, yellow, red, orange. You had different colors of the cards. So maybe one day we'll get that out and go through some of those cards and take a look, because that's what Nooch has saved those over the years as well. Then when we go to the shelf below, there's a lot going on. So when we get to the bottom, in the first part, this is a bunch of NOOCH's books. You can see Princess Leia, her card over there. That is one of the cards that was in that box. So that box is full of cards like that from all three of the original three movies. Then you see the Calvin and Hobbes collection. This was NOOCH's bread and butter. Used to read Calvin and Hobbes with NOOCH Console back in the day. When NOOCH's boys were young, this was their bedtime reading. We'd pull in Calvin and Hobbes and read Calvin and Hobbes at bedtime. A lot of fun. Love Calvin and Hobbes. Then you see Catch-22 there right behind Kylo's Lego shuttle. Catch-22 is one of the greatest books ever written. It was really subversive at the time, right after World War II when it was published. There's a Beatles kind of just anthology. NOOCH loves the Beatles. And then The War. That is really a coffee table book of pictures from World War II. NOOCH's grandfather was a World War II vet, landed at Normandy, Omaha Beach at midnight of D-Day. So all the action had, well, that's not the right way to put it, but the beach had been taken, and we'll talk about that in a minute. If we go right below that, you can see the books in the background. We got we'll start with the bottom. That's where Luke and Darth Vader are facing off in Bespin. That is a box of 100 Star Wars postcards that are really wide. So you can actually mail off those postcards. NOOCH's aunt gave that to him. She had it sitting around and didn't want it anymore. It's just 100 scenes from the first 6 movies. So from episodes 1 through 6, just a whole bunch of scenes. Really cool to pull that out and look at. You can see up there's a Star Destroyer and a Snowspeeder. Those are from I think they were called micro figures. And those came out probably 20 years ago. NOOCH bought some of those. There's a Yoda figure there. Can't remember what that's from. You can't see his face. It's fine. You get it. It's Yoda. And then there's the Kylo Ren what are those called? Microfighter shuttle from Lego. You see an original Princess Leia action figure. That is an original. It is not the original that NOOCH had because, as NOOCH has told you before, he sold off his collection in the 80s like a moron. But that is an original Princess Leia action figure that was released in 1977. And next to that, you've got Hammer, Please Don't Hurt Him, and Paula Abdul. Those are 2 cassette tapes that NOOCH and Mrs. NOOCH have from the 80s that we still kept to this day. And just a lot of fun to have those sitting out and kind of remember the music that we used to listen to and how we used to listen to it back on cassette tape in the day. And we move over to the right of that a little bit, kind of right and below. You can see the cassette tapes there in the background. We've got some minifigure Lego Mandalorians, which is pretty cool. Actually, really cool. NOOCH really likes the Mandalorian figures. Then behind that, you see more of those micro machines. There's a bunch of minifigures. You see some Tusken Raiders, Rebel pilots. Yoda is back there. It looks like there's an Imperial TIE pilot, an Imperial officer, Rebel Hoth soldiers. So a lot of cool little micro figures back there. NOOCH kind of had in mind for a long time you'd build like a big snow set and put stuff on it. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Maybe could do it with Legos down the line. And you see kind of a dead little skeleton Lego guy, but there's, I believe that's Anakin's old face there with the little microphone on. So, I don't know. That's like an old Jedi that's been dead for a long time. He's got his hood still on. Here next to that is more Legos. So we've got the, I think it's the T-16 fighter that Luke talked about where they used to bullseye Womp Rats back on Tatooine. That's on the left. There you got the Boba Fett bust that we assembled on New Year's Day. A couple more Mandalorian sets. These are the micro figure sets. And then the Bantha. That is a really cool, that Tusken Bantha set right there. NOOCH Jr. built that with NOOCH a few days ago. Maybe like a week ago. NOOCH really loves that Bantha. Its head rotates. It's really cool. A lot of fun. Down there. In the background is just a baggie full of extra Lego pieces, by the way. So here we've got the child. We're going to be assembling this probably somewhere around February 1st. We're going to start doing one of these assemblies live on the channel every month. To the right, you see a couple of jars. Those just old money. Well, one of them's empty, but the one behind. NOOCH likes to keep old cash and currency. It's got a bunch of old coins and bills, foreign coins and bills, anything like that. NOOCH just likes to keep it. It's not worth anything, but it's kind of just cool to have around, and NOOCH enjoys collecting it. That little box there, you see kind of the little gold shiny thing in it. That is a set. So NOOCH is a St. Louis Cardinals fan, baseball. And that is a replica set of all of the Cardinals World Series ring. The Cardinals have won 11 World Series, which is number 2 to the Yankees, who've won like 26 or something. And those are replicas of all the Cardinals World Series rings. And NOOCH's mom got that for him a few years ago for Christmas, so he keeps it back there. All right, we go up top. To the right, you see the George Washington biography. That is so super long, and apparently it was reduced from the original size. It's like 8 volumes or something. But Nooch read that probably 8 or 9 years ago now. Read it through. It took about a year, and just George Washington, what an amazing person, amazing man, amazing times. There's a Band of Brothers. That's the entire series on DVD. If you guys have not seen Band of Brothers, Nooch highly recommends you watching it and understanding what people have done for your freedoms, and that's in any country that's free. This is an American battalion, the 101st Airborne, but this is what people have sacrificed for us, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. We got 2 DVD sets of the Cardinals World Series runs in 2006 and 2011. The Godfather Collection. We got Rounders and The Natural over there. Just a few movies that Nooch really loves and has. That beer bottle in the background is from the Cardinals 2006 World Series run. It's a kind of a collector's bottle. It's aluminum. It's really thick aluminum, and Nooch has just saved over the years. Here we got some more Star Wars stuff, but let's talk first about that flag in the background. So that flag, if you recognize it, is a funeral flag for a military funeral, and that is from Nooch's grandpa, who landed, like Nooch mentioned earlier, on Omaha Beach at midnight of D-Day. So the beach had been taken, and he went up the slopes, and he was in the war. He put it a little more colorfully than that. But Nooch's grandpa received 2 Purple Hearts, and the only reason he wasn't with his battalion when the Battle of the Bulge happened, where they took 70% casualties, is he had been sent back to the States to raise money for war bonds. So Nooch's grandpa, that is, I believe he received 2 flags. I'm not sure how it worked exactly, but that is one of them right there, and Nooch feels honored to have that. You see the Return of the Jedi glass down there on the right. That's an original Return of the Jedi glass. That's probably also a McDonald's piece of merchandise. I haven't looked at it, probably should, but that's just a collector's item back from the 80s. And inside that is a Pez dispenser. That Pez dispenser has a Rebel or a Pilot Luke in there in his pilot gear. Then you've got Nooch's old Star Wars thermos from his lunchbox from, boy, we are talking a long time ago. That's probably from the late 70s, Nooch would guess. There's a super muscular Lando. That's not the original Lando figure, but it's one along the years, kind of just fun to have. There are 2 Vader mugs there. One that is shaped actually like Vader's bust, his face, and the other one that just says "I'm your father." And in the one like his face, you got a Chewbacca plush doll, and in the "I'm your father," you have the Boba Fett Pez dispenser, which is awesome. Those Pez dispensers are about 20 years old, and they're just fun to keep around and keep in the packaging. I'm not worried about them retaining value or anything, whatever. Just Nooch has learned over the years it's only worth something if you can find somebody to buy it. And Nooch just kind of takes it for its value. And then finally we have a Star Wars Stein over there. You can see on the front you got from the original movie A New Hope, you got the poster there, but if you can kind of see on the sides, there's raised figures. Well, it's got like carvings of Luke and Obi-Wan and Darth Vader on the sides there, and it's a Stein, got a handle on the back, and you can flip the top up, and you see that silver lid on top, and on top of that is a plush, shiny Darth Vader that Nooch received from some people at work one of these years in the past. And then finally, on the bottom, the lowest shelf, we got a couple of collector's plates. Behind that Han Solo collector's plate, there's a Luke Skywalker collector's plate. We got some weird Batman figure that was kind of like those Star Wars figures above. There's a snowtrooper, Gandalf, you shall not pass, and Ki-Adi-Mundi falling down, as he probably should, Order 66. A bunch of old CDs stacked up and some old tapes, VHS tapes and other CDs in the background. And that is it, guys. That is everything that Nooch has in the new studio. I appreciate you taking this walk through, and hopefully this kind of shed a little light for you on Nooch's life and what he values and what he's looking at and the things that are behind him in the studio. And while you are, admiring or maybe annoyed that this has gone on too long, I don't know, just always remember, Nooch too good. Thanks for watching, and please like the video down below. You can also check out Nooch's contributors up there. You can subscribe on Darth Vader over here, and you can watch more videos on this side. We'll see you next time.